Hello ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. Today we're going to be doing another devlog. I guess this will be devlog number 2. Like I said, eventually I will have so many devlogs that I won't even know what number I'm on, so I'm going to try to keep track as far as I can. This will be number 2, and I guess we're going into March, so this will be March's devlog. I decided I'm just going to do one a month to kind of reveal what's going on for the month and what's going to happen. That way I kind of keep some upcoming secrets hidden. I don't reveal too much. I have a terrible tendency to want to tell you guys about lots of stuff that's coming up. As much as I want to get you excited for it, I don't want to tell you that it's going to happen and then find out something went wrong and then disappoint you all at the same time. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you little bits and pieces of things, and then yeah, you can see kind of how it's going to go for the end of the month here. So for March, actually we're still in February right now while making this video, but what we've done in February is I've released the version 11, which is actually the hide processor, which is this guy right here. Like I said, I've cleaned up the models a whole bunch. I've went and done a bunch of remodeling, cleaned up the textures, and by the sounds of the Patreons and the feedback I'm getting, they are very happy with the new look of the machine, how clean it is, and just how well it processes. There's been a lot of performance updates, a lot of performance fixes. This sucker is incredible, and I'm actually really proud of it as well, so it's nice to be able to bring forward a piece of equipment that's not only awesome, but works good for people, and they're happy with it. So basically in March, I've done the same kind of idea where I've remodeled the V11 machines. I haven't got around to getting all of them done yet, but I've got a really good portion of them completed now. So pretty much the V11 pack, which I'm going to walk through here, will be what's coming out for Patreons in March. That's going to be kind of the main one, and I haven't decided whether I'm going to release these individually for testing, just kind of throughout the month, probably week by week basis, couple a week, just to kind of slowly introduce them to find any issues. Or if I'm too busy and can't figure that out, I might just release them all in one day and you guys can figure it out. But I haven't decided that part yet, so if you start to see these mods trickle out over the next month here, that means I will have decided that I went with that route. So yeah, basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a quick walkthrough. I'm not going to give you guys a full showdown on every machine, like, you know, how they work and all that. You guys know what a buncher does. You guys know what the loader does. I don't need to explain all that to you. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to explain kind of the new style I'm going with for all the V11 machines, which is pretty cool. So first up, on all the machines, we've remodeled the bodies. The bodies are a lot more incredible looking. They got rid of that really nasty cartoony look. If you go on the Patreon website, you don't have to be a Patreon to look at the pictures, but I did a couple before and after comparison photos to the old buncher to the new one, and I think it was to the Wyvern there, the loader to the other loader. And like I said, the old bodies just had really bad AO baking. There wasn't like this, the edge splitting was really roughly done, and it looked really bubbly and cartoony, and the machines didn't have that nice clean square body look that they do realistically in real life. So what I did is I went through and I cleaned up all the machines, recut all the angles on them, made them a little bit cleaner looking. I've also added a little bit of reflection on them now, so they have a little bit of a shine at night. Even the Giants machines look a little weird at night, like the reflections are really bright. You'll see kind of they look a little funky, so even if you look at that at night, they kind of look a little bubble wrapped and shiny, but during the day it just makes them look so good. So it's a sacrifice I'm willing to make at night for the machines. But yeah, like overall they look a lot better. There's no cartoony angles, no blacked out weird looking spots. It turned out really well on all the machines. Same with the tracks, went and redid those. They have a nice shine to them now. They actually reflect really nice when you're driving down the whatever road or whatever there. But as you can see when I'm walking by, they have a nice reflection to them now. Everything picks up really good. Yeah, I was really impressed with all the remodeling. It turned out really good, and like I said, these are the machines I have coming out in March. I'm still working on the other ones, and these are still in testing as well. I'm looking at maybe doing some scaling and some other stuff as well, but you know, it's all up to time and whether we can get it done. So that's pretty neat to see that happening now. One thing I've done with the new V11 pack is I kind of wanted to start like fresh and new with this stuff. I wanted to do something that was more you know, not like we've always done. I I know by law I'm not able to use, you know, I can't use John Deere logos, and I can't call it a John Deere 909. Technically, even putting the model number in the mod name is considered a form of copyright. I mean, that's a pretty far stretch of copyright, but so what I decided to do is I wanted to create my own line. Even though the bodies are exactly the same as the real-life machines, there's no copyright on that part of things. So what I decided to do was to kind of create a fantasy lineup of equipment names to give them kind of their own unique qualities and make them kind of their own thing. So what we've done here in this case, for all of the machines, we've given them a name that is based on... how would you say it? A mythical creature, I guess, or a mythical form of a beast or creature. I don't know why I chose this, just based on, you know, me being a geek growing up with Dungeons and Dragons and loving all that stuff. And I figured, you know what, that's a pretty cool way to do things. And I figured let's name them based on that. So I went through and looked at all kinds of different names and kind of tried to get kind of a story for how I wanted to do it. And yeah, it turned out pretty good. So for instance, this guy is called the Varkolak. Whether that's pronounced right or not, I'm not sure, but that's what I named it. It's based after this timber-bearing werewolf that lived in the woods and killed things, and I always thought, hey, you know what? The Buncher is definitely a timber-bearing werewolf that goes into the bush and kills everything, because that's what it does. So I figured that would be a really accurate name for this guy. So yeah, I gave it that name, the Varkolak. It did take me a while to get used to the new names, especially when I was modding and getting, you know, doing all the file work on them as well, because I'm like, what the hell is the Varkolak again? I'm like, is that the Buncher or is that the Loader? But, you know, after I've worked with these for almost, you know, 3-4 weeks now, I've realized this is going to be the Varkolak for me forever now, because that's just the name I've given it, and that's the name I'll always remember it as. So I think over time, as people start using the machines, they'll start referring to them by the names as well, just to kind of, I don't know, make it fun and make it different. Or you can call it your John Deere 909 if that's still what you want to do. That's entirely up to you. But this is just my legal way of creating fantasy names based on Giant's legal laws and blah, blah, blah about copyright. So, yeah, I thought that was kind of fun. So, yeah, that's the new Buncher. Like I said, looks a lot prettier. It acts pretty much the same as the V10. I didn't do a lot of changes in the actual functionality yet. I might go back and revisit that stuff eventually, but we're not quite there yet. So next up we have the Ladon, and the Ladon is based off of a serpent creature thing that had a whole bunch of heads, kind of like the Hydra. So I always figured the button top having all these giant little punky heads and pieces popping off there, I figured, hey, you know what, that's a pretty suiting name for it, so we called it the Ladon. Again, this guy's had all the same model changes and fixes that the other machines have had. Again, it's got that nice kind of glisten to the body, so it shines a little bit, cleaned up the body, the textures, the tracks, everything looks a lot better. Yeah, I think everybody will enjoy that one as well. Next up, we got the Wyvern. Most of the loaders and stuff I've kind of tried to name after kind of, you know, cool dragony names, because honestly, they remind me of a dragon when I look at a loader, if you were to put it in a kind of a mythical sense. If you were to drive one of these bad boys into a, you know, old fantasy town, they'd probably think it was a dragon, so, I mean, party on. But yeah, so this one was originally the grapple loader. It used to be yellow, and it had that cartoony, ugly-looking body on it. We've gone back to this nice orange again, which is to match the Hitachi style that it used to be based off of. Like I said, that name has obviously been stripped from it. It is now called the Wyvern, which is pretty exciting. So, yeah, this guy's a lot better. I've changed the claw by a whole bunch. On this guy, mostly because where these 2 points were, just to kind of give you a background here, these 2 points used to be a lot closer together, so these claws were actually sucked in and almost touching when it was closed. This caused a bit of a problem here. Oh, I don't have my joysticks plugged in. It's okay, I can still open the claw. So, for instance, when it closed, now it's got a bit of a gap in between. When it closed before, it used to close almost like, you know, needle pin tight between the 2 claws, and you couldn't get a grab worth of crap. It was really horrible. So I went and reconfigured that. So now, even at this point where you've still got a grapple, you can hold a lot more logs. I made the grapple longer, like the forks on it a little bit longer, so the claws can actually reach down and grab. And I also made it thinner this way, because it used to be a lot fatter out this way and this way. So yeah, that's a lot cleaner now. You don't have to see that problem anymore. It looks a lot better. And it's performance-wise, man, I can pull wood off a truck like you'd never believe. Same with putting it on. It's beautiful. Also doing penciling in that, it's a lot smoother. It doesn't get hung up. I think you guys will be really happy with this guy. And I hope to see you guys using and abusing that for unloading your trucks. This one's called the Paluda. I can't even remember what the hell that's named after because I didn't look at the name very clearly. I just grabbed them off a list. So if you guys don't know what it means and I don't remember, just look it up. You can type it in Google or something like that if you're really that curious. Or just drive it and use it. That's fine too. This one's had a little bit of body fixes as well. It still has a bit of a cartoony bubbliness to it that I'm not really super happy with. But, yeah, I don't know, even with all the edge splitting and stuff like that, it still didn't clean it up as much as I'd wanted. So you get kind of like a weird bubbly look here, and I don't really like that. But it does that even on some of the Giants' regular machines. It's just something to do with their specular mapping, and it's kind of a funky effect, but I don't know. I still think it looks pretty cool, so I'm going to keep it that way. This one is still the same old riser dangle. Nothing really improved on it. The grapple's been improved a little bit. I played with the collision walls and the grapple a little bit just to make it grab a little bit better. Yeah, mostly just kind of body fixes, adding logos, that kind of stuff. This one is called the Guavier, or however you want to pronounce that. The Guyver, I don't know. So this one is the Yarder, and what I've done is it's become blue now because red was just, I don't know, too obnoxious looking for me. So I changed it to a nice, cool, baby blue looking color. We've also added the nice textures and give it some shine. Same with the bucket. For some odd reason, when I logoed the bucket, it copies the same texture and puts it on the other side. So you get to be upside down FDR on this side and then right side up FDR on this side. That's just how that's going to be for now. It's not really a game breaker, so deal with it. We'll just pretend the loaderman or whoever mechanic guy was hammered when he put the logos on and he put it upside down. So that's probably not unrealistic. In fact, it gives it more of a realistic logging quality because the mechanic probably was hammered when he worked on this thing. So, yeah, looks out pretty good. But yeah, this one's pretty much the same, you know, still does its good old yarding stuff. There might be some scaling stuff I might do with this one a little bit to make that boom a little bit longer. I've had a few people complain that they wanted a longer boom on it, so we'll see what happens. I haven't quite decided what I want to do just yet, but we'll see what happens with that. Anything is possible. This one's the hide processor. I already reviewed this with you guys, but, you know, same thing. Clean body, nice tracks. Oh, yeah, before I forget, on every single one of these machines, I have now put in a little instrument cluster from one of the tractors. So it's, you know, tells you your speeds, your speeds and your machine times and stuff like that. That's actually a bad example. That one's got the most minimal one because the loader couldn't fit the other thing in there. Long story. This one's got the full screen on the bottom to tell you machine hours, all that kind of stuff, as well as all the stuff that you need to know. So when you're driving around, you can kind of keep track of your things. It's just one step to making the interior a little bit better. Not like a huge improvement on the interior. They're still pretty bare bones basic, but yeah, I don't know. I still think it's pretty cool to have something more technical inside the cabs. So pretty much every single machine, I think, except for this one. This is the only one that didn't have one because I liked having this nice clean interior. It was really hard to try to put a monitor in there and it looked kind of dumb. So processor's got everything and extra and more in here to you know, do all that fun stuff. Here's the new trailer. It's not really new, it's pretty much the same trailer. Again, it's had the specular map put on it, so it's got some nice little shine with the reflections. This one's called the ROC, named after some kind of rock golem, just to be creative. Yeah, no, so this is the folding bunk trailer, same as before. Folds in, folds out. So you can do, you know, 7s or 5s or whatever you want to do. But yeah, no huge improvement on that other than suspension's been changed a little bit. Nothing I would even worth mentioning. It just works good. This guy is called the Valkyrie, and the Valkyrie is one of my pride and joys for pulling anything in the game that you can attach to it. Very heavy truck, very powerful engine in it. This one's also had the textures redone a little bit, cleaned up. It's got a nice shine to it. All the tracks, everything looks really good on it. And by tracks, I mean like the actual suspension tracks on the back. Those look good. yeah, everything just turned out pretty good on this guy. I'm still happy with it. For some reason, when you spawn my machines, they float for a bit. So once you get in it, then they actually kind of level out and flatten. Don't know what that issue is, but something that just happens. So, yeah. So this guy's not like horribly changed from the other versions. It just looks a lot better and cleaner and tighter. All that fun stuff. Here's the old Duramax, which is now called the Isleta DL, or however the hell you want to sleep. Silpnir? I don't know how you want to pronounce that. It was a cool name, so I took it. It's got the logos on the doors now. Yeah. Oh, I'm planning to put a hitch on this. I haven't done that yet. I keep forgetting, but now that I saw it, I'm gonna do that. So yeah, that one's called that now. Same old truck. It's got the fuel script. Fuel script still causes call stacks, but it works. It doesn't actually affect performance. I've done performance tests, and the call stacks do not cause frame rate drops or anything like that. So I've just been leaving it alone. If you want a fuel truck that still gets the job done, this is the one that does it. So yeah, fuel tank does work. If you fill it up and bring it to the bush, you can do that. This guy is the Talos, which is the new name for the line skidder. It's got a line skidder ability on the back, so you can hook to trees and drag them around. It's again had body improvements. Still a little bubbly looking. Again, didn't get a full clean job that I wanted out of that, but it's I'd say it's pretty improved for sure. So yeah, that turned out really good. The only thing I changed about this since the Patreon beta and since the V10 release, I didn't include the claw grabber on the front. Before it had that big nasty claw grabber that used to be able to pick up logs. I was finding it was actually causing too many screw-ups. One, it screwed up visibility while you're driving. I didn't like that while I was pushing snow or pushing anything like that. But yeah, the claws got hooked up on things and didn't hold logs and it glitched out. So I just got rid of it. So now it's strictly for pushing silage, wood chips, snow, whatever the hell you want. And yeah, it's got the line skidder ability on the back for dragging logs. So one thing I want to tell all you guys, if you're listening, if you haven't lost me by now, is on all of my machines, since the Giants did their last update on Farming Simulator, for some odd reason, whenever I try to push snow or wood chips or whatever, I have to go into the game, start a new game. I save the game, sorry, I buy the machine, save the game, go out, go back in, then it'll push wood chips. But if you start a new game and then you go buy a machine with a blade on it and try to push wood chips, it just doesn't do anything. It just runs into the wood chips and goes right through it and doesn't do anything. But if you save the game, quit, load the game again, suddenly it magically pushes wood chips just fine. And I've looked into it a dozen times and I cannot find for any reason why that is, because it doesn't do that on the in-game machines, and they share the exact same scripts as mine, so I'm not sure what that is, but yeah, I don't know. So if you guys are having issues with the machines not pushing silage, not pushing wood chips when you first buy them, that's because you need to save the game, quit, reload the game, and for some reason when you do that, it loads the script properly and then it runs. So I'm sure I'll get 100 emails about that later on, but hopefully you guys are smart enough to figure that one out. Next up is the Banshee, which is the new grapple skidder. I really went with a funky color with the red with the white, kind of almost like a Medill style. You get the blood red tires with the blood red grapple on the back. Visually, it's actually a really good time driving this bugger around. It looks really good and it's easy to grab, easy to do pickups. I picked the name Banshee because it reminds me of a screaming thing, and when you listen to this guy, oh yeah. God, I love the sound of this. This is my favorite sound, is this grapple skidder that I've ever done. Like, I do all the audio for all the machines. Like, I usually pull them off of YouTube, or I pull them off of, you know, any kind of recorded versions of these machines, and then I try my best with the weird way Giants has audio to try to work it in, and this one is the best I've ever had turn out. It sounds so good, and it's just meaty, and oh, I just love it. Even when we were playing in those multiplayer videos, you could always hear the skidder coming because it would sound just rah, you know, just plowing along, and I love that. So this one has a memorable place in my heart because it's just, I love that sound, I love the look, and like I said, now the new look actually is, I don't know, I think it's really cool. I've had a lot of comments from people so far who have seen it that just said, oh, it's amazing, and I can't wait to get this out to you guys to try out, because I think we'll be seeing a lot of this guy kicking around. I think it's going to be pretty popular. On this one, I went and Played with the suspension a bit as well. So I noticed on my old skidder while I was driving around doing some testing, it was really like bouncy. Like you'd see these tires. So if you were really giving her, there's a lot of torque. If you hit any divots in the road or anything, it would cause it to almost like jump. Like it was really like a really glitchy, jumpy kind of effect. So what I did is I softened the suspension and all the axles. So now when you're driving, it actually, I don't know if I can test it here. Of course, I'll probably test it now and it'll do something weird, but you'll notice that the tires react a lot better. So like even like see how the front end's got a lot of saunter to it. It goes down. Bloop, bloop. See how it's really smooth transition? It's got like a really soft suspension. It's a smooth transition going up a hill to down a hill. You can actually watch it in real time here as we go. The best is when you get weight. So here I'm gonna go all the way back and then do this again. So you can actually see the suspension bounce up, boom, boom, and then drop down, doop, doop, and catch itself. It's really smooth, and it runs really smooth. I mean, obviously, if you're going to go over crazy, sharp terrain, it's still going to have a little bit of funkiness to it. But for the most part, God, I wish I would make uneven terrain. I don't have any apparently on this map. Oh, here we go. We'll drive it up this hill and watch it compress. Well, there's no like really uneven spots here. Oh, there's an uneven spot. Sorry, I'm just having fun now. This is no longer... Oh, see, there's a good example. See how the middle tire is way up in the air? See how it catches itself? That whole front tire just drops right down. Doop, doop, doop. Really smooth transition from one terrain to another, and that was a really big, important part for me. Because before, you'd go over that piece of terrain, and the back end would hiccup and jump up in the air, and it was a real pain in the ass. Yeah, I just found a floating tree. Look at that. Alright, well, this map's got some stuff I still gotta work on. Anyway, what were we on? I think that was the last machine in the pile there. So outside of these machines, now that we're talking about map and floating trees, yeah, this map is the new map called Frostline Ridge. And it's basically... Here, I'm going to grab a truck so I can drive around and show you. Where's my truck? There we go. Oops. Yeah, so this is basically a new winter map. It's had all the same tree fixes as Jade Mountain did. So the trees look a lot better, a lot cleaner. They don't have that ugliness to them. You can see the trees as far as the eye can see, and you won't see any glitches on that or anything. One thing I did with this map that's different is, if I can pull up the map, I made cut blocks. So there's actual cut blocks with cut block names, and these are realistic, real-life kind of names that you'd see, at least in Canada, how you'd see timber marks. So a timber mark basically represents an area of timber that's been sold that you can then log within the confines of that timber mark, basically. So an EM9853, basically that means the area code, or like the area for where the timber is coming from, the sale license, and then the license number behind it. So what I've done is I've gone ahead and I've made my own little cut blocks all throughout this map. And like I said, you don't have to stick to these. You can cut wherever you want, make your own cut blocks. But I heard a lot of people asking for something a little bit newer that they could use to cut out squares, cut out blocks, kind of make their own plan. I know there's a tree marking mod. I don't think the tree marking mod works on mine, but on these trees or not, but you can try it. If not, definitely you can check out these cut blocks. So what I've done is I've actually gone and marked out sets of trees. So for instance, you're driving along. I know there's floating trees everywhere. I haven't done that patch yet. So you'll come along, you're driving down the road, and you'll see a cut block. So looking at our map, this is where our cut block starts. Actually, this is probably the end of the cut block. Cut block starts over there. So this is the end of our cut block. So you see where we are on the map right here. So the start of our cut block will be this chunk to the water and back. So what I've done is I've marked these trees, even though there's one floating there. Marked these trees with a red X and a tag, and basically it outlines the cut block. So you have a whole outline of these trees going right to the water. If we can get over there. I know since the update your guy walks slower too. It's kind of a pain in the butt. Yeah, so you have this big outline of the trees that goes straight across down to the water. So you can cut everything within that. If you're playing the game by the, you know, the laws of cut blocks and you want to do it that way. Cut everything from the water to that tree. Then you follow the water line over to the next tree that's lined, which is this one. So this one's marked up. And then you can cut back. As a buncherman, you cut back all the way through and follow the line right back to the main road. So in the buncher cab, it's really easy to see this stuff. I made them pretty evidently sharp. That's why I put the green tag on there too, just to kind of, in case you missed the red, the green really throws out a marker line for you when you're in the buncher. Yeah, so you can just chase it all the way back out to the road here. And bingo, there's your cut block. So you can cut everything from there to there within that square route, and you'll have a nice little square chopped out of it. That's pretty fun. And like I said, figures, it just kind of adds another level of, you know, another level of entertainment to the game. So here's another cut block example. So your cut block starts on this side and goes all the way over to this side. And if you compare it to the map, that's exactly what it does. Cut and cut. And then you can actually drill out your whole location here for how you want to do it. Yeah. Or completely cheat, cut down all the trees, even including the ones with the marks, and, you know, do whatever you want. It's entirely up to you as the logger. So we're going to go a little off-road here for a minute. And I think I can cross here. You can drive on all this. Drive on this icy terrain. The iciness has got a bit of a glitch right now that I'm working on. I need to put a different reflective map on it. So you can see like the ground kind of like glitches through. Anyway, this map is not even close to being done yet. I have a lot of stuff to do to it. So you're seeing a very beta version. If you see anything glitchy, well, that's to be expected. Oops. This ground also has no, whatever. Oops. Oh god, what have we done? Oh no. Oh, sweet baby Jesus. Alright. Just ignore this part of the video. Thank you. Great. As you'll see, the diesel truck is now floating. That's a new feature of the mod, definitely. Okay, so like I said, these maps are pretty much all snow regions, so you can go through, check out all the new spots. There's lots of cut blocks, lots of little hidden fun areas to go check things out. One thing I will tell you that's really cool, I started playing around with the Seasons mod. If you add the Seasons mod with the Snow Geo mod combined, man, it just buries this map in snow and it looks really cool. It's performance-wise, it's a bit of a bitch if you don't have a super good computer. I'm also working on some stuff to play around in the snow. I'm not going to get too much detail on that because I want to save that for April's little Patreon devlog update there, because I got some fun stuff for that. Of course, anybody who's been following along with the live streams has probably seen me screwing around and has a definite idea of what I'm doing with the snow mods and what we're doing there, but I'm not going to reveal anything yet because I don't know kind of how that's going. I have to plan out a bunch of stuff. So here's some more cut blocks, nice little valleys. Like I said, I'm not going to walk over the whole map because I'll let you guys explore it yourselves. Lots of nice little peaks and valleys to go down into. Lots of trees in here. Challenging terrain too when you get to the sharp stuff. It'll be interesting to see. I think a lot of people will log on these maps. There's nothing I enjoy more than watching you guys play these maps and do your different ways of logging and different, I don't know, it's really fun to watch you guys do that stuff. So it's going to be interesting to see when a company or another modding group comes to this area and they you know, they got to log it out to see how they do it and what machines they use. I don't know, it's fun, it's a challenge, and it's definitely neat to see all the different variations. You guys use the machines in ways I never thought you ever would, so it's funny to watch me do it one way thinking that's the way to do it, and then watch somebody else do it and go, oh, I never thought of doing it that way. But yeah, anyway, so I think that's pretty much the end of the devlog. I don't really have anything else to report for this month. All I do have to report is that we have lots of cool stuff upcoming. The chip truck and the chip loader with the bucket, those are getting worked on right now as we speak as well. I'm not releasing those in March yet. I have a huge issue that I'm trying to rescript on the bucket. It's causing some severe call stacks, which is causing frame rate drops, and it's not acceptable for release yet. So I'm going to work on it this March a lot to try to see if I can resolve that, because I really want to get you guys this new chip dump truck and the chip loader. Technically, you can load whatever you want into it, any kind of silage or snow or whatever you want to put into it, but it was mostly designed for chips when I first built it. So yeah, that's going to get worked on over the next month, and we'll see kind of how that goes. But yeah, it should be all good to go. If you guys have any questions or suggestions or ideas or thoughts or, you know, private feelings you want to share with me, feel free to shoot me a message at fdreviews@gmail.com, or you can leave a message on this video. I try to get back to every comment if I can. Obviously, if it's repeat comments or, you know, stuff that doesn't really have a response that I can give to it, you won't see a reply, but I try my best to get back to everybody. Thanks again to the Patreons for making all this stuff possible. Without you guys, we would be nothing, so I like to remind you guys that all the time. One more actually awesome announcement. I can't believe I saved this for the end. I should have put it out first. So for console, we have Chad, also known as Mithras Catalyst. He has been doing countless hours of work for us, doing, you know, all the modding transitions, bringing these maps to console. And that's a huge, huge job to do it, and it's a lot of BS you got to deal with, talking to giants back and forth, waiting for replies, making minor changes. He spends hours and hours and hours and hours of his time making sure people can get these maps on console. And so we've worked together for a really long time, since 2015, just on kind of random projects and playing together. I've basically officially made him a partner now with FDR Logging. So now it's Chad and I working against the world to do FDR Logging related stuff. So he's going to be working more on the console side of things. He's going to try his best to see what he can bring over and work with them. We're going to try, maybe potentially try to get a logging machine onto console, but there's definitely no guarantee that that's going to happen, because it's a bit of a finicky process. Very different doing a machine than it is doing a map for console. So we're going to try our best to see what we can pull off, but absolutely no promises on machines. He's going to work really hard to try to bring you maps that are upcoming. We'll see how things go with that. But for the time being, yeah, everything's so far so good. And I'm really, really happy to have him aboard and part of the team fully and officially now. So anything you guys see on console, that's all owens to Chad. He's the man for console. I literally do not do anything for console, bringing it over. All I do is I make the map. So yes, I'm the original person who makes the map. You know, do the valleys, the peaks, you know, the artwork of making it a map. Chad then goes in, he tears her down and adds the stuff that he needs for console to be added. And Chad has a nice touch of adding in some special things. Once in a while, he'll put in a secret Easter eggy valley, or like he did on Smoky Valley, where you find that giant forest you can go log. I love when he does that stuff, because it's kind of like a surprise to me, even, because I don't even ask him. I just let him do his thing, because he knows what he's doing. And yeah, when you guys get it on console, it's really fun to hear you guys go, hey, I found this secret passage, and I'm like, I didn't put a secret passage on the map. And then, yeah, Chad comes out and surprises me with all kinds of good stuff. So, yeah, really happy to have him aboard. And he's going to be trying to bring you guys as much stuff as possible within the confines of what Giants will allow us. So, yeah. And like I said, I just had a recent Farming Simulator 2019 update. So, we'll see how the gears get grinded. And we'll try to push stuff to console as well, if that's an option for us for 2019. Yeah, it's all in the works. We'll see how it goes. We'll watch throughout the year and post updates based on how it is. So, yeah. Anyway, thanks a lot. This is the end of the devlog video. Again, if you guys have any questions, feel free to let me know. If not, we'll see you for another devlog in April. Thanks a lot. We'll see you later.